What's happening? What's happening? It's your boy Signs for the Conscious Mind checking in. You already know what it is when I come across your For You page. Stop, tap in, dope gems, local historical facts. You hear me? We about to get started. We're going to be talking about incubator babies and hoodoo. We're going to do a little review over the hoodoo, one time for the YouTube channel. And then, we're going to talk about the incubator babies a little bit. We're going to break down the etymology. We're going to understand what incubator and incubation is. And then, we just going to discuss on where all these people came from in the 1800s, you heard me? So with that being said, we're going to, roll it if you got it, pull it if you got it. We're going to get into some shit, like it, share it, let everybody know where we at. You know what I'm saying? We're taking a little break off the TikTok for right now. Streets kind of hot. Let's head in, tab. Glad you could tap in. Is everything clear on your end? Can you see it? Is everything straight? So, what's happening? I'm glad you're over here, big dog. We're going to be talking incubator babies. We're about to break down the word incubate, incubation. You know what I'm saying? Talk about them a little bit, show the postcard, how we do. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the hoodoo one time for the YouTube, you know what I'm saying? So it could be on record. TikTok been playing with folks lately and shit. They've been glitching my lives on there. So we just going to let it cool off a little bit. We're going to be over here for a little minute, probably like a day or two. Cool. Glad it's loud and clear. So shout out to everybody that's in here, man. I appreciate that. Like the live, share the live. If you're new to the page, you know what I'm saying, hit that subscribe button. I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to go ahead and get into it because we refuse to forget. You already know what it is. They tried to make us forget years and years of ethnocide, you know what I'm saying, whitewashing and just hiding your history, out of sight, out of mind. And that's the whole point of an ethnocide. An ethnocide pretty much is, out of sight, out of mind, man. You make people forget about it. This is the reason why a lot of people don't know about the Mississippian culture. They don't really know too much about us and stuff like that, even though they got all types of artifacts and mounds and books and it's documented. They just not pushing it out the mainstream so folks can, really understand who's who out here. So that was part of the play. So out of sight, out of mind. What better way than kill the Indian and say the man than a good old ethnocide, you feel me? So, but we refuse to forget. We always remember time at the time at the time and everything like that. So with that being said, hope y'all enjoy the live. Welcome to How You Learning Book Club. You feel me? We're gonna change it. Man, lying about history most definitely. All day. That's what they do. Yeah, let's get it. Roll it if you got it, pull it if you got it. You know what I'm saying? We talking about incubator babies. We talking about clones. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in one time so y'all can really get a clear look at it. Feel me? 1800s cloning. The incubator babies of Coney Island, and not just Coney Island, but they had incubator babies set up everywhere from the UK to the Philippines to Korea, United States. You know what I'm saying? They they had this shit set up everywhere, man. Like real talk. Like anything that we think happened here in America, man, put that shit on a global scale. Because if it worked here, they would release it globally. Because remember, man, America's one big experiment, right? The world's a stage and America's one big experiment. Social experiment, biological experiment, and everything else like that they come with it. You feel me? So, hey, if it work here, it's gonna work everywhere else type shit. But dude at the bottom, like the second dude, like in the second picture right there, dude with the hat, you can tell that he's outplaced. Like, just look at his hat. You supposed to be in America. What kind of hat and what kind of getup is that? That's not very American. You feel me? But I digress. So, and cloning was not illegal in the 1800s. That's what a lot of people fail to realize. You know, you know, cloning most definitely was not illegal in the 1800s. Most of your cloning laws and your restrictions and your guidelines and everything that came with it, that came in the late 1900s. I'm talking about like 1980s to 1998, 1999. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when all the laws came into place. So anything before then, honestly, it was free ball game. You know what I'm saying? And then one of the beautiful loopholes about it, well, I ain't gonna say beautiful loopholes like that, but one of the loopholes about it is they not gonna do federal funding. All right. But just because they don't do federal funding, that does not mean that you can't privately fund it. You understand me? 111, we in here, 1111. You know what I'm saying? So just because you can't openly fund it doesn't mean that you can't have private parties and private fundings for this stuff. And most organizations always do private funding for private things that they're trying to experiment. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of shit be hidden in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? So, and just doing this timeline, it just, I don't know, it just made me start thinking about the population and everything and all the books that we be reading and stuff like that. You know, um, it just made me start thinking about all the books and stuff that we be reading about this stuff. Um, it was to repopulate the world, repopulate America and all this type of stuff, but it was to repopulate. So if you're talking about repopulating, what happened to everybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then what make it so crazy is that look who you're repopulating. All these clones is more likely YT, bro. Like a lot of them YT and shit like that. So what happened to the YT folks back then that made them have to repopulate from cloning? We already know about the mud floods. All right, we know about the bubonic plague. You know what I'm saying? That shit took out a third of their population, honestly, right there. What's happening, Wild Indian? Glad you can tap in. So, I mean, if we going by what Benjamin Franklin said, they was already proportionally the small number around the world. And you talking about a black plague or a bubonic plague that wiped out a third of what was already small. You feel me? And that's just one thing. Then you gonna add smallpox on top of that shit too. You know what I'm saying? All these other diseases. So it's like, how many YT people really was over here in America for real, for real? Because after you add in all these atrocities and numbers dropping, and we know that these folks have a hard time reproducing anyway. Like, you feel me? Like, something ain't sitting right. Like, where's all these random YT folks coming from? And then at the same time, while they releasing all of these so-called clones or whatever like that, they going to war with folks. So it's like they making clones to go to war and shit. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. You know, they tell you about clone wars and all of that type of stuff. What if the Confederate and the Union and all them civil wars and shit, what if those was like really clone wars? Like, motherfucker clone, we fighting these niggas and they keep making them. Like, where the fuck these folk coming from? Because like I said, if you add in everything that happened to them throughout the years, there's no way that they are the majority now, and there's no way that they was the majority back then. You know what I'm saying? They have always been the minority. Here comes cloning. You know what I'm saying? So it all adds up, you know, and just a little thinking outside the box to get you to where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit out the box to get you where you need to be. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Y'all straight? Y'all good? Is it making sense a little bit? I ain't talked about the incubator thing in a long time. So it's part of the review, the yearly review. hmm Just making sure we straight. I'm be checking in every now and then as we go on through the live, you know, because this is our very first official live on YouTube set up like this. So again, shout out to naturalism and how-to videos for teaching me how to set this up the best way. I'm still working with it and it's gonna get better with time, you know what I'm saying? But for right now, man, that's what's up. So shout out to Naturalism Yahweh and how-to videos on YouTube. So yeah, go to the next slide. All right. So okay, hold on. Gotta make it a little bigger. So the key sites of it, right? Let me blow this up real quick. There we go. So So the key sites or the key insights of cloning and everything is, the trend of unsettling and strange postcards from the past raises questions about the intentions and motivations behind these manipulations. So just unsettling, strange, and weird postcards, you know what I'm saying? Like babies being grown in cabbage patch fields and trains coming out of nowhere. Then you got the stork, or the story of the stork always dropping off the babies on the doorstep and everything like that. Um, just strange stories and strange postcards from the past, and what was the intentions? What was the motives behind it? You know what I'm saying? What kind of manipulations was this? Was it even manipulations at all? You know what I'm saying? Was these really folks being cloned to repopulate the world? Because I mean, honestly, when I stare in people's eyes nowadays, it's sold, it's cold. So a lot of folks out here ain't got no conscience, no morals. You know what I'm saying? Like, and only a natural being will have conscience and morals and shit. I don't know. I just pay attention to people behaviors nowadays, and a lot of folks move beyond a robot. A lot of motherfuckers be moving very clonish out here. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I'm gonna start calling for. They got bots out here and people moving clonish out this motherfucker. You know, and then you got the sheep. So you surrounded by a whole lot in this matrix. You did. So now the Cabbage Patch Babies postcards depict a variety of themes, improving involving growing babies, including babies on plants, mushrooms, and waters, and a nest, and being hatched from eggs. You know, and being hatched from eggs is like the literal definition of incubate or incubator or incubation. So when they tell you that, man, like, it's Cabbage Patch Babies being hatched from eggs, like, incubator baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, they tell you without telling you. If you could read between the lines and understand what's not being said, right along with what's being said, you did. And then number three, the symbolism of the bunny bee character in the Cabbage Patch Kids representing rebirth and resurrection hints at the mass production of babies in the lab. Test tube babies, peach tree dish babies, you feel me? Um, just grown in the lab. Mass production, you heard it? Repopulating at a high rate. Mm, 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 mm. Excuse me. So, the idea of genetic manipulation and cloning in the 1800s, symbolized by the Cabbage Patch, raises questions about about the origins and transportations of premature babies to incubators. Mm. So the idea of genetic manipulation and cloning in the 1800s, come on, man, they had this shit thought out in the 1800s, probably way before then. If we keep digging, I'll probably find something. I'll probably find something way back in the 1500s, or probably, it ain't nothing but alchemy. So if alchemy is old and ancient, who's to say that this cloning and gene manipulation isn't ancient? I mean, there was already gene splicing, which is a form of gene manipulation. And you know, cloning people is still like splicing and gene manipulation. So how far do this really go? Who all was clones? Like how do we know some of these biblical characters wasn't clones? How we know some of these so-called civil rights leaders that sold us out wasn't clones? How we know who's real and who's not? You know what I'm saying? In history. That's why I'm a big skeptic. I always question everything. I don't take nothing for face value. I don't care. I don't like wood nickels. You feel me? So I don't know. I think a lot of these folks that they keep in history, something fishy about them, because we know the real folks, they don't get talked about, they don't get heard about, they get ripped out of history and all that. So what did y'all do to stay prevalent inside of this his storybook of this guy? You feel me? So I just be looking at folks like that side eye, like, and you know, shit like this and how you looking side eye too, and going down the rabbit hole of thought like that. But we're gonna keep going though, you know. So the mentions of genetically manipulated cloning raises questions about the possibility of artificial repopulation and its ethical implications. It's always about repopulating. And who are we always repopulating? It ain't us, because we don't die, we multiply. It's always them. And that's why I came to the conclusion, like, what if these folks were supposed to have been extinct a long time ago, and they just been prolonging their extinction with these clones and consciousness transfer? Like, what if these folks supposed to have been gone as fast as they came here? Like, as fast as they mutated and popped up on us, they were supposed to have been gone too. Think about it. What these folks age fast in the motherfucker? Like, folks be 20 looking like they 80. And come on, man. So I think that has a big thing about it. They trying to prolong the inevitable. And the inevitable is they not gonna be here no more on this earth. And it ain't just them, but it's a lot of folks. You know, Spain hasn't had no new births in a while. Italy hasn't had no new births in a while. Um, China birth rate going down. Shit, Africa birth rate going down. The only people birth rate is straight is us and Latinos, honestly, and a few other folk around the world. You know what I'm saying? But mainly us and Latinos, we straight. Shit, we don't die, we multiply. But I digress. You know. So the last and foremost, the early photo manipulations on these postcards show an extraordinary amount of effort and suggest that they hold a deeper meaning about the world we live in. And I'm talking about a deep meaning. Deep meaning, you know what I'm saying? Default did a good job. I will say that. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Vanguard, BlackRock, you know, just the whole 13th family, you know, they did a good ass job by making folks docile, dumbing people down, making folks confused or what is real, what is not. They got people thinking like America in this world just a normal, boring ass place. Like there's nothing mystical or magical about this motherfucker at all. People think that you really just supposed to wake up, go to work, pay bills, and die around this motherfucker, and go travel on from Friday and come back on a Sunday and go back to work. So your vacation day is only like 3-4 days, and people think that they're living. And boy, these folk did a good ass job with hiding the real world. They did a good job with hiding the real world, you know, and it's so many layers on this matrix. It's like that movie Inception. You know what I'm saying? It's like that movie with like Inception. There's so many layers packed onto what is real, you know, and a lot of folks just they don't have the stomach or the mindset to peel that veil back layer by layer. It's like an onion. You gonna start crying out that bitch. The more layers you start peeling, the more tears come down because it becomes about you. You know what I'm saying? It becomes about you. So those are the key insights, right? Those are the key insights. What's happening, Jay? Jay in the building. So, you know. So we're gonna talk about the etymology. We're gonna talk about the etymology. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Uh, Shout out to everybody that's in here. So, you know, the incubator babies of Coney Island. So now learning etymology is important. Words are important. Knowing that words are spells are very important. You know what I'm saying? Um, incubator, incubation, and incubate. It literally means to hatch an egg or to lay on an egg, right? It's always dealing with an egg, all right? Now, multiple definitions of incubation. But one thing I do know about an incubator machine is that you need one when creating clones, okay? And when you think about how a clone is grown, it will be a premature baby and you will still need to incubate it. So they still telling you about cloning in your face without telling you cloning in your face. Like I said, in the 1800s, this shit was not legal. You know what I'm saying? All the laws and all the rules and regulations that they have about cloning, that shit came in the late 1900s. So anything before then, it was free ball game. But I'm gonna blow up the bottom in the etymology for us so we can see it. So the etymology of incubation, right? 16 tens of brooding, right? Of brooding. Mm. A laying upon eggs, noun of action from past participle stem from incubator or incubate. To hatch, literally, to lie on, rest on, literally, to lie on and rest on. Okay? The literal sense of sitting on eggs and hatching them. Incubation is literally sitting on eggs and hatching them. All right. So, what is an incubation machine or an incubator machine? All right. Well, an incubator is basically a mini cloning machine. It is an epic support equipment which consists of a machine protected by a sandbag. It has gears and clogs and a door for the clone units to get out in three tubes. As much tubes fill up and get closer to creating another clone. When three tubes are full, it will create a random clone. It creates basic units. Unfortunately, the incubator does not do any damage. It is and it has high hit points. All right. High hit points. So, an incubator machine is literally a mini cloning machine. Mm. Uh, it's a literal cloning machine. So, what they trying to tell you? So what they trying to tell you? Hmm? The incubator babies of Coney Island. The clone babies of Coney Island. The clone babies of the UK. The clone babies of Korea. The clone babies of the United States of America. This is the reason why a lot of people cannot go that far back in their ancestry because their ancestors fuck around and was clones, nigga. For real. But I'm telling you, a lot of us can go all the way back. I'm talking about all the way back damn near to where the fucking Europeans back the idiots. A lot of folks here cannot go past the 1890s, 1880s, 1860s is where majority of people stop. Like for 1860, that's where a lot of people stop. The Native Americans can't go past 1860. You know what I'm saying? Like majority of them cannot trace their ancestors back past 1860. Shit, some of these Pan Africans might be fucking clones. You know what I'm saying? Like some of them can't trace their ancestry back to 1860, and they haven't showed nobody a ship log with their ancestors' names on it at all. I'm like, have a ship log with your ancestor name that's on your census record that show where your ancestors docked off this ship, and they are Africans that was laborers, slaves, or indentured. Name, date, birth date, death date, kids, and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like something. And how it trickles down to you today. Now, one Pan African that I've seen has honestly did it. And they not gonna do that because I was on their live earlier today and they was like, why would we do that? So y'all can screenshot it and put it on y'all background and shit. Nah, bro. Ain't nobody gonna do that to y'all. Because if you can prove that you're an actual African, then kudos to you, bro. Because we ain't never said that Africans didn't come. We just said it wasn't that many. Your chances is hitting a scratch off before you'll find African in your tree. That's what we said. So if you found the African in your tree, then congratulations. You are that minority that came. You know what I'm saying? The fuck is the beef. But you know, a lot of these people though, shit, a lot of these folks is incubator babies. A lot of these people clones and shit. You know what I'm saying? No joke. Nigga been living amongst clones, dating clones. 4GL was happening. BJ was good. For real, think about it. And I mean, Hate to say it like that, but think about it though. Like, yo ass probably dated a clone. Probably dated a few clones in your life. You probably, man, look, you be wondering why you be dating some folks, and you be like, like he soulless, nigga. Like, there's no emotion, no impact, nigga. Like, yeah, a lot of niggas just nonchalant and shit. You know what I'm saying? They just do what clones do. Like, think about it, motherfucker. Hey, you probably the nigga that probably dated a clone or two. You better pay attention. Then especially the peak game. Think about how many bullets you probably dodged from like getting pregnant or impregnating somebody. Women and men too. Think about it. How many bullets you done probably dodged of getting impregnated by somebody or impregnated by somebody? You be thinking like, damn, well maybe they organs and shit fucked up. Yeah, nigga, clones can't reproduce. Clones can't naturally reproduce. Ain't nothing natural about them. They got an artificial clone. They got to artificially reproduce. So now think about these Rogaine shots and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This why I don't know, man. That Neanderthal shit just don't sit with me all the way. Like, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but something about it just don't sit with me because it is part of the Darwin theory. So if we know that the Darwin theory is bullshit, then we got to think that this Neanderthal shit is bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? What if the Neanderthal story was just a cover up for all these fucking clones here? I mean, because think about it, when you look up a Neanderthal, they call a Neanderthal a subspecies. A sub can be a substitute, like a substitute species. That's another fancy way of saying clone. You got a species and you got a subspecies, a substitute species. And you got splendor. You got sugar and you got splendor. You know what I'm saying? GMO and shit, man, that shit clone. So like just off of that shit, I be like, man, what if that story is just there to hide that these niggas is clones? All type of clones too, like bad clones that went wrong. Alright, clone, decent clones and shit. Some of they clones came out with tails and shit. Some folk had fucking horns. Some motherfuckers hairy with the tail and shit. Like they made all type of clones around that bitch. Like, just straight engineering shit. All around that time. And then all of a sudden the mud flood happened. Now you got a page in the Bible talking about how God resetted the earth because of all the damn genetic modifying that was going on. And I'm sitting here like, what if after the mud flood, them niggas wrote King James Bible? What if that Bible ain't even as old as people think that shit is? What if they just wrote that bitch after the mud flood and they talking about the mud flood, but they putting that shit way back in ancient biblical times? Like, man, they'll do that. The best lies are the ones with the truth, man. Like real shit. So I just be on here, just be like, just going down the rabbit hole of thought sometimes. Like, damn, bro, shit, a story can go this way, a story can go this way. But one thing I do know, that motherfucker ain't going that way. You feel me? Dodge that history, because that's all it is. Shout out to everybody that's in here, though, man. Like the live, share the live, follow the host. If you're new to the page, hit that subscribe button. This is our first official live on YouTube with it looking like this. Shout out to Natural, and shout out to them how-to videos. So it's just gonna get better from now. Oh, see, I was saying, I'm my ancestral soul. I'm my ancestor spirit. I gotta find a charger block for my phone real quick, y'all. Uh, Shout out to everybody that's in here. See if that's why no sound on TikTok. You hear? Yeah, I was telling people we on live. That's what the background said. We on live on YouTube. So I was trying to tell people to come over here, like come to my YouTube. But yeah, so now just gotta understand the two kinds of human clones, and it's more than just two. But right now we're gonna talk about two, and probably later on we'll go over the book called Human Cloning, and it talks about all the other ones and stuff like that. Um, this is where you like that book gets into like consciousness transfer, synthetics, Mach 1s through 6s, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, for tonight and this topic, we're just gonna stay on this one: the two kinds of human clones, which it all starts the same from left to right, but certain things that happen to get the end result. So you have a reproductive clone baby, when you have a therapeutic peach dish baby. Okay, so those are just the two types of clonings. Y'all want to take a screenshot or picture, y'all can. I just want y'all to put it up here. Y'all can read it. You know what I'm saying? But all of this goes on inside the incubator machine. This is why I got that at the bottom too. So all that goes on in the incubator machine and all that, you know, man, these folks been busy. I'm trying to say these folks, man, look, these boys been busy. Hold on, y'all. I'll be back. Hold on. I had to get the phone charger real quick. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Y'all good? So yeah, just the two types of cloning right there. Um, mm, all right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna rerun it. It's already recording. When I end it, it's gonna upload automatically to my YouTube. So you know, you just go to my YouTube and rewatch it. Sister Soul, what's happening? Sister Soul, what's happening? Shout out to everybody that's in here. If you like this type of information, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. so you can be notified when I go live and drop new videos. We will be coming on here more often. So now, getting into what we're gonna get into. Let me zoom in for y'all. All right, there we go. As y'all can see, it says hoodoo. We're gonna be talking about hoodoo tonight, cause it ain't what y'all think it is, and them folks ain't telling you what it. Them people want you scared of your culture. They don't want you doing your culture. They don't want you tapping into your ancestry or nothing like that. So they gonna always demonize it and put the boo in you. They gonna fear monger you into doing some stuff. All right. Most definitely, ancestor soul. Yeah, it's most definitely gonna be out there. You know, what's happening in life is still glad you could tap in. So we're gonna keep it going. Roll it if you got it. Hope y'all enjoy it. So hoodoo is indigenous to America. A lot of people don't know, and I know I didn't say voodoo. I said hoodoo. Hoodoo is indigenous to America, and inside of this document, we're gonna read it and we're gonna break it down, and you're gonna learn that it's deeper than what you think it is. All right, and a lot of folks been studying it. Even your boy Melville Herstovix, you know, he was one of the first ones to even try to say that hoodoo came from Africa. Um, so we already know what Melville Herstovix did, so we ain't got to go too deep into that one with that one. So just put two and two together. So with that being said, we're gonna get into it. So the title is Hoodoo, the Indigenous Medicine and Psychiatric of the Black American, right? The indigenous medicine and psychiatric of the Black American, right? The so-called Black American, the Negro American, the so-called African American, the real Mississippians, all right? As it goes, in the growing volume of literature on transcultural psychiatric studies of indigenous healers, the hoodoo doctor has been too long overlooked. The hoodoo doctor has been too long overlooked, right? The minimum amount of material about this type of folk healer reveals a failure to discriminate hoodoo from other cultural systems of healing, all right? Okay? It's hard to discriminate hoodoo from other cultural systems of healing. The indigenous hoodoo doctor should not be confused with the voodoo priest doctor. The former a product of Black American culture. The former, which is hoodoo, the former a product of Black American culture is your culture. It is your culture, all right? It's your culture, Black American culture, right? Oh man, look. Oh man, it is quite common, said Melville Hostovitz in 1941, whereas a latter is rarely, if ever, in the United States. All right, let me scroll down. In the latter of the United States, right? Uh, the present paper will attempt with limited data to obliterate the actual distinction between hoodoo doctors and other indigenous healers. All right, that word indigenous again. And to clarify the healing aspects of the American blacks, not African blacks. Not African blacks. We ain't talking about Africa. We talking about America, right? The healing aspects of the American blacks or the American Negroes or the American Indians. Hoodoo doctor in retaliation or hoodoo doctor in relation to the interaction of situational psychological factors of the Black community. Hoodoo as a form of folk medicine and psychotherapy. Next section. Hoodoo as a system of Native Black American. Stop. See it lined out. Hoodoo as a system of Native Black American. I think we, man, I can't believe they just said that right there. Oh man, we're gonna have to let that rest for a little minute. Let me catch up in the comments. Catch up in the comments. They said what? I know it's I got you. I see your picture. What's happening, fam? Wild Indian, what's happening? Reginald, what's good? The true medicine man, most definitely. The true medicine man. Oh yeah. I'm telling some folks to come over here. Yeah, TikTok be playing. They wasn't trying to let me pin that comment telling people to come over here. TikTok be playing, you feel me? What's happening? Chippewa, glad you could be over here. All right, let's continue going. So what it said about hoodoo. If y'all can see it, y'all let me know. If I need to make it bigger, I could do that too. Michelle Tate, what's happening? If I need to make it bigger, let me know. If it's straight, can y'all see it? We good? Because I kind of don't know what it look like on y'all end. Derek was good. Michelle was happening. Glad y'all can tap in. If y'all haven't subscribed to the YouTube, please do. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check my messages tonight. It looks good. Cool. All right. So let's get back into it because it was getting heavy. So now this section says hoodoo as a form of folk medicine and psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, right? Oh man, they had a hard time of getting our brains because of what we was. We gonna read it. We gonna read it. We talking about medicine, man. Indigenous healing. So it says what we're gonna start back at the top before we get down to hoodoo as a form of folk medicine. Just go back to the top real quick, just to reiterate for folks who just tapping in. The present paper will attempt with limited data to iterate the actual distinction between hoodoo doctors and other indigenous healers, and to clarify the healing aspects of the American Blacks or American Negroes, American Indians, hoodoo doctor in relation to the interaction of situational, and psychological factors in the Black community. Okay. Hoodoo as a form of folk medicine and psychotherapy. Hoodoo as a system of Native Black American. Hoodoo is a system of Native Black American. It's not a system of Africa. It's not a system of Native Nigeria. It's not a system of Native South Africa. It's not a native of none of that except for here in the Southeast and the Mississippian culture. This is why all of us Mississippian babies, we grew up with hoodoo aspects and we still do it today, whether you know it or don't know it. If you comb your hair out and you burn your dead hair inside ashtrays, congratulations. You're doing hoodoo and you don't even know it. If you superstitious, you sweep the broom over your feet, hoodoo. Here's another one. When you married and you jump the broom, hoodoo. Man, it's a lot of hoodoo that you don't know. Throwing the rice over your shoulders and shit like that. Throwing the salt over your shoulders, rice. Throwing rice at weddings and all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even all the way down to washing your hair with natural rainwater to cleanse yourself, because rainwater is some of the most purest water that you for real gonna get. That's why they don't want you to collect it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about that fake shit that got stuff inside of it. I'm talking about authentic, pure, natural water. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we do a whole lot of stuff that's still hoodoo in origin. We just don't know it because they want us to forget it. They want us to think it's evil and demonize it, and that shit came from the church folk who been colonized and converted and heavily indoctrinated to make them hate themselves and everything. So they try everything to demonize it, but you still do it all day. So hoodoo as a system of Native Black American folk psychotherapy and psychiatry. All right. As a complex belief and practice involving almost every aspect of life, it's a practice involving almost all aspect of life. Witchcraft or hoodoo is a magic rite meaning ritual, whether acted out according to a formula or merely intended or wished against someone's welfare. The core of this system, according to Hyatt, is to catch a spirit or to protect your spirit against the catching or to release your caught spirit. This is the complete theory and practice of hoodoo. Moreover, hoodoo is flexible, amorphous, and constantly changing with the times, conditions, and personalities. You understand me? Okay. Changing with the times and personalities. Everything, brother, most definitely. Appreciate that. Big O was heading. Even if you went to the hair salon, you brought your hair home and burnt it, most definitely. Stewart was heading. It's more cultural, our culture. Yeah, most definitely. Shout out to everybody that's in here, man. I see y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in over here. We gonna let me scroll up. All right. So now, a person can lay or plant or root for another to catch the spirit of another. A person can lay or plant or root for another to catch the spirit of another. The victim, however, is not entirely helpless. He can, with the proper guidance and help, form from a root worker or a root doctor, turn the spell or trick against the person initiating it. Once the hoodoo doctor has performed this highly respected act called homing, right? Homing, it's just like, in the army and the homing device, when, you home in on the person who, yeah, you spiritually home in on who did this to you, you know, you cut the ties, you cut the soul ties or whatever it is, and you can flip it back on them. You have every right to flip it back on them, or you can just let it go. You know what I'm saying? But if you reversing it and you turning it against the person, you are in every right to do so. You are not violating nothing. All right? You ain't violating nothing. Okay? So now I got this right here that I found interesting. Okay, I found this interesting right here. That when I typed in the etymology of hoodoo, I was like, let me find out the etymology of hoodoo, where it came from. So I typed in the etymology of hoodoo, and this is what I got. The etymology. In certain regions of Western North America, these rocky structures are called hoodoos. The name is derived from hoodoo spirituality, in which certain natural forms are said to possess certain powers. But by the late 19th century, this spirituality became associated with bad luck. Listen, etymology. By the late 1900s, this spirituality became associated with bad luck. So anything before the late 1900s, what's the opposite of bad luck? All right. So just recently, your spirituality, American Indian, was associated with bad luck and it was ethnocided. Now, our ancestors tried their best to keep it alive with a little bit that they passed on to us, but it also been ethnocided. Because in all these spiritualities around the world, nobody mentions hoodoo. Nobody mentions hoodoo. It's often overlooked. How do we know? How do we know that Buddhism is the oldest? How we know that Confucianism is the oldest? How we know any of those spiritual practices is the oldest? Because when you think about it, America's the real old world. And everything came from here and came from us. So would it make sense that everybody else spiritual practices came from hoodoo? Because in hoodoo, we believe in stones, we believe in sage, we believe in reincarnation, we believe in meditation, we believe in yoga, we believe in fasting, we believe in high vibrations and frequencies and everything else like that. Hmm. You tie in the to it. Hmm. Hoodoo. Dig into it. And dodge the hijacks. If you choose to do your research on it, dodge the hijacks. The hijack is when they always try to tie it to Africa. And this ain't tied to Africa. Everything couldn't have come from Africa, y'all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit came from here and was taken to Africa. And then from there, they did whatever the fuck they did with it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, hoodoo is American, and it was did by the American Negroes in the Mississippis. All right. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Like the live, share the live. I appreciate y'all. Mm-hmm. OG, she was at it. Took a while to find you. I appreciate they was at it, Regina. That's because they wanted to take us away from our roots, most definitely. And notice what you said, Chippewa. They wanted to take us from our roots. And roots can mean magic, right? They wanted to take us from our roots. The whole thing was to take us away spiritually, magically, natural and naturally. You know what I'm saying? And when you stripping the Indian and you saving a man, you just get a vessel, a zombie. He don't know nothing about himself. They don't even know what is in front of their face. You just here to work and go to sleep and wake up and do the same thing. But they wanted to take you from your roots, your magic. You feel me? And they did for the most part. The average person is scared of hoodoo and voodoo and anything like that. You walk up to anybody, the average person, hey, what's up with that hoodoo, that voodoo? Oh, you talking about that devil shit? Oh, that shit evil. Boy, this is your shit. Nah, my ancestors ain't do that. My ancestors worship Jesus. All right, bro. All right. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised what Jesus did. They lying about that too. You know what I'm saying? They lying about that too. But anyways, you feel me? It sure is the old world, and America is the South America when they flipped it. I'm mad about it. Yup. Baby Hemming said what they demonized was our spiritual practices. Yeah, they did. Shout out to Big Bobby Hemming. They most definitely demonized our spiritual practices. If we don't do our spiritual practices, then how are we ever going to get back spiritually? Or how are we ever going to spiritually heal? We can't spiritually heal doing they spiritual practices. We got to spiritually heal doing our shit. You know what I'm saying? Or else our ancestors would have blood, like our ancestors' bloodshed, just the blood in the soil is just here in vain. Like our ancestor soul, spirit, energy, plasma, blood is in this soil. Do you know how strong that magic could be once we tap in? We got the source right here. We just got to take them shoes off them socks, get grounded, and tap in. But the ultimate sacrifice is already done. You gotta act upon the sacrifice that was made for you. You know what I'm saying? hmm Right after the what's that in original red? Right after the war, the flip happened and demonized our way of life to adapt theirs. Yeah, most definitely. You ain't gonna save your spirit doing that shit. A vessel to program after making everything away up, after taking everything away, definitely. So I just find it funny that they found these rocks and just to tell you that these rock structures is in Utah. I'm just gonna let y'all know that now. It's not on there because I had to screenshot it and cut it so it can fit the thing. But when y'all do it, it's in Utah. This rock structure called the Hoodoos, it's in Utah. All right, something about that Utah, right? But it's in Utah. But like we said though, everything was happening simultaneously though, right? Everything was happening simultaneously. What's happening, Alana? Everything was happening simultaneously. Cause they said what? They said hoodoo was considered bad luck in the late 19th century. The late 19th century is like late 1800s, mid to late 1800s. Now, mid to late 1800s, you also had this shit going on simultaneously, right? And then you also had the Gullah Wars, the Yamasee Wars. You had all these wars going on. You had clones being made and shit. Them boys said the Wild Wild West. They really meant that shit, the Wild Wild West. And it wasn't like no cowboys and hats like they showed you. It was something deeper in that movie Will Smith played. Look beyond that shit. Look at the inventions and the technology and all the advancements and shit that was going on. See, they had you focus on the cowboy and the shoot 'em up, bang, bang, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, woo, okay. Now, the machinery and the technology is the main thing you need to be focused on. And the whole totalitarian shit, after they didn't reset it, everything type ordeal, like they put it in your face, you know. So you had all this type of stuff going on in the 1800s, man. Shit was wild. Then you got Ellis Island coming over, dropping off more clones. So you had incubator babies already being incubated over here. And then you got the Ellis Island going down that's dropping over more incubator babies. Like, because this incubator stuff, this shit was happening here, Korea, Philippines, UK. That shit was happening all over. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you'll be surprised, dog. Like you'll be surprised for real, for real. What spiritual frequency could we or should we be listening to while we meditating? Yeah, 528 is good. I like 144 hertz is good because 144 hertz is for unity consciousness. And we always be talking about 144,000 chosen ones. So 144,000, 144 hertz. Unity consciousness and everything like that. So that's a good frequency as well too to listen to at night. And 999 is good, triple eights is good, um, and a few other frequencies. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, reconstruction most definitely. They knew or know how powerful we really are and were definitely. Definitely. Ah, that's red line. What's happening, red? Red in the building. So they had that going on with the incubators and everything too, man. The shit crazy. All right. So now, check this out. So now, again, looking up the words, right? So the etymology of hoodoos, it took you to the rock structure in Utah, and it derives from the hoodoo spirituality. Now, when you go to the definition of hoodoos, it's the plural form of hoodoo, and it's an Indian sign. It's an Indian sign. Hoodoos is plural for hoodoo, as in Indian sign. And when they say something that brings bad luck, we already know that that's the late 19th century definition because we just did the etymology of it. And the etymology said that it became part of bad luck, late 19th century. So this definition that they giving you is the late 19th century one. So we know that that ain't even the real definition. But what we do know is that it is American Indian. It is an Indian sign. It is a hoodoo spirituality practice and everything. And at the bottom with the synonyms or similar words at the bottom, it says Indian sign again. Or you got curses, spells, jinx, hexes, pox, like smallpox, pox. Did they really bring smallpox over here, or did we put that spell on them? You know, we put that root on them. Voodoos, whammies, double whammies, jinx, you owe me a soda, omens, evil eyes, Fatima hand, evil eye, evil eye. You see the evil eyes down there? Evil eye, hoodoo, evil eye. I told you hoodoo. America's the real old world. They practices came from over here. The evil eye, hoodoo, Indian sign. Man, look, Pete Gang. Pete Gang. Said, Regina said, I like YouTube better than TikTok. I do both of them. I prefer TikTok for real, for real. Um, I'm more of a TikTok social media influencer. But, you know, we diverse. We could do both. So we over here right now. I'm just over here because I'm giving my page a little rest because they out here pulling and banning everybody pages. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they out here banning and pulling everybody pages. So shit, I'm just I'm just letting mine rest for right now, you know. hmm Put a root on them. Regina, I noticed that when I burn my hair at the combing or brushing and saying positive things on burning, I could see some changes in my life, most definitely. So that used to be our, we use it again. It's my first YouTube account since it first came out. I was new to TikTok. Definitely. Yeah, I was new to TikTok about 5 years ago. I've been doing that. I've been going live on there for about like going on like 5 years now. Ooh, my head itchy. All right, shout out to everybody that's in here. I appreciate y'all for being in here. Okay. And this right here is just a hoodoo practitioner. She's one of the hoodoo practitioners right here. You know, the sister. It's an American Indian, right? It said American Indian. And cheekbones. See if we can zoom in. Cause people got the phenotype mistaken about us, man. She got the big cigar in her hand too, you feel me? She got big cigar in her hand. She big practitioner. You feel me? She ain't playing no games. She just did like 10 hexes on somebody who was talking trash to her yesterday. For real. You know? Big practitioner. Jesus say what's happening. I appreciate that red line. Yeah, so she could teach me so. Yeah, big practitioner. Got a few bonuses for y'all. A few bonuses. Yes, this is a British and Mexican flag together. That's why I tell people, hey, go research what a British Mexican is. It's gonna blow your mind. They got a whole history about them that people don't know. They got a whole history about it that people don't know. Go look up what a British Mexican is. Said Auntie Pam. She kind of like my oldest sister for real, for real. I do a side by side. It be spooky. So we're gonna touch back on the British Mexican a little bit later this week. Um, Wait for the real British Mexican. Yeah, so just a little quick rundown review on the hoodoo. The incubator babies. We probably gonna touch a little bit more into them. I found some books in the archives about them. I'm gonna thumb through them real quick. Give me like a day or two to thumb through them real quick to find some stuff to bring to y'all. But I done found some books at archives.org about it. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. So we will touch more into it as the time go on with this yearly review. Um, we're gonna touch more into hoodoo a little bit more because it is our spiritual practices as American Indians, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, whether people are scared of it or not. We will touch into it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and what else? And we just do our thug things. We're gonna be back and forth from YouTube to TikTok, TikTok to YouTube. For the topics that I can't talk about, y'all know we will be right here. And for those other topics that we know that we can get away with, we will be on TikTok. So y'all already know what it is with that. So I think that I'm gonna go ahead and bring that Germany's Black Holocaust out on this thing like this. You feel me? That'll probably be the next live we do for real, for real. Cause I really been wanting to do Germany's Black Holocaust without being pulled, and I really been wanting to show y'all these damn pictures that I've been finding of the Nazis here in fucking America the whole time. I'm talking about before Operation Paperclip. Them Nazis was over here before then. You know what I'm saying? Like hidden, like hidden, going by different names and titles and shit like that. But man, but we already know that Ashkenazi. When you spell out Ashkenazi and you look at them last four letters at the word, the shit say Nazi. You know what I'm saying? So them folks been here this whole time. They just added more folks doing Operation Paperclip. Um, and they had flags, maps, all type of shit. So we gonna break it down since I can finally break it down fully now. Since I got a layout now, to break it down, we gonna break it down for real, for real. We gonna really get into it. We gonna talk about how there was two Hitlers inside of that book, Germany's Black Holocaust. There's a chapter in it. We're gonna talk about two Hitlers. There's a melanated one and there's a white one. You feel me? So it's real dope. So for those who haven't been around when I broke down the Germany's Black Holocaust, tune in. We gonna fuck around and do that shit tomorrow or something like that. Whenever. But with that being said, man, I ain't got too much more to go. I just wanted to do a nice, smooth first live officially on my YouTube. So I hope this was a nice start. You know, I felt good about it. You know, the quality, you know, the picture change was all smooth. You know, shout out to the people that came, the people that tuned in and stuff like that. If you're new to the page, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time I go live or drop a new video and everything like that. If you like this type of information, you would have found yourself on the right side of YouTube and TikTok. We teach history with integrity. So, you know, it's a Tartar video about the incubator babies. I'm gonna look into it. How can I learn hoodoo? Oh man, you can just with I mean it's books about it. It's books about it. It's practitioners out here. Just be careful with them. Follow your soul and your spirit when you're doing it mainly. If it don't feel right, don't do it. If it do feel right, then you know you all good. But there's books, there's articles, you know, ancestors, aunties, cousins, grandmamas. You'd be surprised who does it in your family. Like for real. And I'm just speaking from experience, you know, you'll be surprised who does it in your family on the low, you know, because it's one of those spiritual practices that you would most definitely do on the low because it's so demonized now. Um, Even old dude, Robert Johnson, you know, the famous blues and jazz guitarist, about the crossroads and shit. That whole story is about hoodoo. You know what I'm saying? The Christians came up with the narrative that he met the devil at the crossroads and sold his soul because back then Christians didn't like jazz and blues. They called it devil music anyway. So when he disappeared, you know, it was Christians and religion that demonized. Was like, yeah, he sold his soul and he went to. Now, not saying that he probably didn't or he did, but what I do know is that for that year that he did disappear, when people said that he was at the crossroads, he actually found his daddy's brother, which was his uncle. And his uncle was a great jazz musician down there in Mississippi, and he taught him how to play that whole year. They was just going ham playing. Um, the creepy thing was he was teaching them how to play the guitar inside of a cemetery because they say that the music you play the music in the cemetery, the spirits you get to talking to you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And just because somebody say spirits, that don't mean it's a bad spirit. Don't mean it's a good spirit. And spirit is a spirit. But what I do know is that that's part of the story that they leave out when they talk about Robert Johnson. So he did learn from his uncle, but the creepy part was they was learning how to play inside of a cemetery the whole year. Yeah. But that whole story is about hoodoo, um, and it gets it's cultural, man. They just wanted to demonize it from you from the get go. So you can find books, articles, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandmamas. The oldest person in your family might know. Like I said, you'd be surprised who does it in your family. Shit, you'd be surprised who do it around you now. Out of your home girls, probably, or whatever. You know. Yeah, they definitely been here for a while. What's happening, LaRue? They definitely been here for a while. Yeah, so we'll do that one. Yeah, they know the truth. This was nice and very smooth. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, you can talk with Tia too. She's down there. Yeah. Ah, yeah, these people definitely been studying this. You watch his documentary? Yeah. Man, check out his documentary. Have you heard anything about the cock, cock USA caucus? I ain't never heard of that one before. No, I ain't never heard of that one before. I forgot about it. Yeah. you know. hmm It's OG Tribe in here. Shout out to OG Tribe. I don't know if you in here, OG. Shout out to OG Tribe. Courtney said she been trying to get on. She think hers broke. Shout out to Courtney. A lot of people having trouble getting on. Shit, they probably got me shadow banned on here too. Shit, we pretty much done for the night though. But my scalp is itching. It's itching in places I can't get to. So yeah, man. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up and end it right there. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you missed it, if you came in too late, give it about an hour or two, or you can check on you can check it out and look tongue tied. If you came in late, came in the middle, you missed something, you definitely can check it out tomorrow morning when it fully upload. But outside of that, man, I appreciate y'all very much for tuning in. And everything else, we will have doper lives in the future and everything. So vibrate high, peace, prosperity, abundance, gratefulness, gratitude, and appreciativeness. Practice serenity. Control what you can't control. Let go of what you can't control and have the wisdom to know the difference. So you can balance out all karma in your future life, past life, and your present life because it's happening all simultaneously. Teach the kids what you didn't know because the kids got a matrix too. They got robot teachers and sheep friends and frequency weapons and everything else around them too. So don't shelter them, guide them, teach them, let them know. All right, give them the gems that you're picking up. All right. And with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night, man. I'll see y'all and whoever's going live on TikTok. Peace, be easy.